This is a clip from the Chris Drake Show podcast.
Keep your eyes peeled. What is it? We don't know, but it's out there.
Wow.
I'm going to take this time to read a letter.
Good letters. We get letters.
I've been reading this book. It's not a letter from me or to me.
What is this book?
This is called The Proud Highway. It's approximately, let me look at the last page that has a number on it. It's 700 pages long.
Wow.
Okay? And,
You read from last week about a story about Lenny Bruce, right?
Yeah, it's Hunter S. Thompson.
Hunter S. Thompson, The Proud Highway.
The Proud Highway, the saga of a desperate Southern gentleman.
I think you can get that on Amazon.
Saga and pecan.
It's a pecan pie. Waiter, I would like to partake in a piece of your
I
pecan
say saga
pie.
and I say pecan.
Yeah, you also say
pecan.
mem, and we know you're wrong.
No.
Oh, yeah, I was told that internet culture and internet rules blow all English language out of the water. That if it's an internet culture, or if it's an internet meme, if it's an internet phrase.
I don't want to say meme.
Oh, you guys
weird.
Well, I don't want to
Mem.
hear you say mem.
I'm
it makes you
saying
sound
men.
it makes you sound ignorant.
No.
Mem.
No.
Mem.
Oh, mem to
It's
meme.
raining memes.
Mem
Hallelujah.
to meme.
I'm
Did you see
watching
that
memes.
meme, dude? Did you see it, John? That meme?
You know what
Or
I
did
mem?
you see that mem?
All right.
Which one's more manly? Mem.
Manly? What the fuck do you care about? Meme is manly. Mem. Mem.
Meme?
I'm making a mem.
I called my grandma meme.
That's your problem.
No. I'm saying mem. And you know what? I can say it however
You
I
can
want
say it,
to
but everyone's
it.
going to think that you're an idiot.
No, they're not. Because they're going to be like, how are you supposed to say it? I'm going to, it's really mem.
You're going to make
It's
people
not.
forget the funny meme that they
The-
saw.
the
about
It's
more
not.
you
You're
say
completely
something,
delusional.
The more
You're delusional.
you
You're
say
insane.
something, the more it becomes true. So I will continue to say it.
Yeah,
this
and
way.
1 billion people say meme.
No, I doubt it.
No, you're the only one.
If you could pull that 1 billion number up, I'll believe you.
I don't need to because you're so crazy about this meme that it's like there's not like no one. That's like someone
You
pulling up a
said it.
number. How many people believe the Earth is round? I can't find that number.
Hopefully all of them.
Nobody even
Hopefully
writes
would-
about that.
Hopefully that
I
would
met-
be 7 billion
I
people.
met a guy the other day. He was
That-
writing WFTFN on the wall, and he was saying the Earth
WTF.
is flat.
And these, we go around this. Oh no, the
A
sun
world.
goes around us.
A world
he did say that.
on the flat nation. All right, so this
I
is to
remember Alien
Daryl
Nation.
Harrington. This is written by Hunter S. Thompson. It says here that Harrington, this girl, Daryl Harrington, was Thompson's secret girlfriend in San Francisco. I imagine this is when he was with Sandy Conklin, I believe her name was, who later became his wife. They've got a son named Juan, and he wrote this letter to her on November 3rd, 1963. That's my birthday.
Happy birthday, Chris.
Hey, woohoo!
Yeah, thanks.
He looked at me like, "Are you gonna say something?"
Please. Dear Daryl, nagging guilt has finally won over procrastination. And for whatever it's worth, here is communication, or at least a reasonable facsimile thereof. I suppose you are down there playing shepherdess, and I'm curious to know what it's like. I'm sorry I didn't write you in Europe, but the summer was vicious and I haven't had an address until now, much less a moment of peace or rest. I got married, as you suggested, and now Sandy is pregnant. I have a new Doberman, nephew of my other one, and probably a better dog. I also have a car and a nice little house some 10 miles out of Aspen. I also have a disposal. I don't know what that is.
What is? How do you spell it?
Capital DISPOSALL.
Let me see it.
Do you want to take over?
No,
Oh.
I guess. Sure.
Studio help.
All right.
Where are we at?
Right here. Disposal. All of which.
Can you look up Disposal? Talking to
Sounds
Lauren
like
back
a
here, our
disposal.
co-producer.
Okay. All of which are very nice, and I
How did
trust
this
you are.
happen?
Slower.
What did you do?
And I trust you are well too. You've undoubtedly met someone, some nice young man who will bring home the bacon, or sit home and summon it like me. And God willing,
I
we
like
will
that.
all be spared the hemorrhoids and the clap, grow old peacefully. And so much for that. I recall my inept bumbling in New York and wonder at it. Now that I've prided myself on being a skilled lecher, or even a semi-skilled communicator. But what a complete goddamn power failure that one turned out to be. You put too much pressure on a person, I think. I knew exactly what I wanted to say, or at least I thought I did. But in that kind of hyped-up atmosphere, I would have felt like I was making a speech. Maybe after 2 weeks the air would have been cleared, but I'm not sure. You've always thrown me into a bit of a stall. Maybe it's because you've always been rushed, usually due to my chaotic scheduling. And I've always had the feeling that whatever I had to say, I had better say it right now. And it had better be damn good. And don't remind me that I almost always brought the pressure on myself, and that you generally had good reason to expect more from me than what I offered.
Well, it's getting past to John.
Oh, this is like third grade.
Yeah.
I want to read this one next, Mrs. Voris. Probably I've never convinced you that my interest in you is anything more than a sort of offbeat lechery. Even now, at a distance of several thousand miles and safe from your jackhammer interrogation, I resist a wavering impulse to try and write it down. I could offer hints and write cleverly in the bargain, but that would be sort of cheap. Maybe I can write it sometime in a story, and you can read it there and come a little closer to knowing. Or maybe you do know, but insist on having me say it. That's what I like to think, but then that's an easy way for me to duck out. Now and then I remember that day when you were sick and I stopped by to say hardly anything and sit on the bed and look out the window in San Francisco. That was a good day, and one of the few times I didn't feel compelled to say, quote, meaningful things, end quote. It seemed like we were doing okay without any bullshit dialogue. But of course there was no hurry then, and I wasn't trying to juggle you with the rest of my life like I usually am. Why don't you write and say a few things, and if you give me any openings, I'll try to push on. I don't want to bother you or plague you with old questions and buried answers, but I hate to think that I've barged into your life as often as I have without your knowing why. And if you don't know, then I'd like to be able to tell you, but I am not real good along those lines. But at this distance, I won't be able to duck the whole thing and lapse into conventional lechery as a stopgap. Let Maestro Chris finish this last.
It's still.
There's one more paragraph in this letter from Hunter S. Thompson.
All right. The enclosed, by the way, is something off of a Big Sur beach that I've had since then. Sorry, I got distracted. There's a footnote after he says,
Big Sur?
Since then. It says, the enclosed, by the way, is something off of a Big Sur beach that I've had since then. And at the bottom it says, a beautiful stone Thompson fashioned into a necklace. Tonight I added the leather and thought it was okay. Stare at it long enough and it develops all manner of meaning. At least it does for me. Hang it on a peg somewhere or get it wet and hold it in the sun. Worthless as it is, it ain't a bad thing to have. Conventionally, HST. That was sad.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that was not good.
It's a slice of life
It
is
was
what it is.
especially reminiscent of things in my life.
Really? Have you been the girl on the side? Like,
Oh, no. There was just distance.
oh yeah. It sounded like he just kind of drops in, like, I've actually never heard of her before. You always assume that, Hunter S. Thompson had a lot of women coming around, but you also always hear that he's a gentleman. And that was 1963, so it was different times back then. It's funny that he said that the woman actually suggested that he get married.
Yeah, and he did it.
Yeah. Well, he stayed with her for a pretty long time, I imagine. I can't remember how long he was with Sandy.
So I wonder if he got married because she suggested it and he didn't want to. So which one did he really love?
Well, he had a daughter with or a son with Sandy.
Well, you can have kids, but...
Yeah, but I think Hunter's the kind of guy who took care of his kids.
I didn't say that he didn't take care of his kids.
Yeah, but you would think,
I was saying, you can have kids and maybe you don't love each other and you love someone else. You know what I mean?
And that's the worst thing for a kid to grow up with, I would imagine.
Yeah.
You got a dad, but he's halfway out the door all the time.
Right.
Well, I'm sure whatever Hunter did was the right thing because he's dead and we all respect him.
Man,
so.
this was what you. Wow. Right before Thanksgiving with this?
That's pretty good. I don't know. Last time I just picked a random one. This time I actually kind of briefed over them. I never read that before. There's
just
so
kinda
many.
feel a little deflated.
Well, it's a book, you know. It's like there's so many letters that I've never actually taken the time to sit down and read them all. And like I figured, you know, I'm on this podcast, I might as well pull some out and see what the hell's going on and kind of reflect on it.
Yeah, we'll never get to have HST on the show, so this is, I guess, second best that we got right now.
Yeah, and one thing I love is he always, anytime you hear someone read his work out loud, he always says slower, slower.
He wants him to read it slower.
Yeah, he gets so pissed off.
Yeah,
I
you
bet.
slowed me down there.
Slower, slower. Oh, you should hear, there's a video where he's at the Viper Room with Johnny and John Cusack, and John Cusack is reading a letter that Hunter wrote to like the DA or something, and he the whole time, like every fourth word, he says slower, slower, and John Cusack never slows down, and he keeps saying slower, 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 you know, and he never slows down. It's really quite annoying because if you've ever watched, you know, any videos with Hunter S. Thompson and people reading his work, I mean, he always demands that you slow down and take the time to read it and pronounce it, you know. Like, I guess I've heard stories of him, like, reading, like, somebody quoting him and quoting it wrong. And he makes them open up the book and find it.
Wow.
Because he gets so pissed off that they're misquoting him.
He's a guy I wouldn't want to misquote, that's for sure.
All right, more about Hunter S. Thompson later on down the road. Not tonight. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back. Oop. From the Chris Brake Show podcast.